Hello, I'm Kamali, taking you through the stories people are talking about and sharing around the world on NewsFeed today. Hashtag delete Facebook. Have politicians ruined social media? We look at the millions of followers the world leaders claim and what they have in reality. What's huge, Chinese, and plummeting to Earth? And Chewie brings something amazing to a 15-year-old, and it's not the keys to the Millennium Falcon. Now, top of our newsfeed, hashtag delete Facebook. It's gathering momentum online after the revelations of the weekend about the harvesting of users' data, the selling of our info, and the way that's then used to manipulate us. And it got us thinking, have politicians ruined social media? Now, Facebook was created as a way for kids at elite universities to show off. It's now the biggest thing in the world, and everyone, including your president or prime minister, is on there. And as this weekend's reporting has shown, that is now a huge issue. So, will democracy as we know it survive the digital revolution?
It was a grossly unethical experiment because you are playing with an entire country. We would know what kinds of messaging you would be susceptible to, including the framing of it, the topics, the contents, the tone, whether it's scary or not, that kind of thing.
That is an understanding of your personality, because it's personality that drives behavior, and behavior that obviously influences how you vote.
It's incorrect to call Cambridge Analytica a purely sort of data science company or an algorithm, company. It is a full-service propaganda machine.
Now, the boss of Cambridge Analytica, who you saw at the end of that, has been suspended. Alexander Nix was shown by Channel 4 News in the UK to be ready and willing to use illegal, dirty tricks to get people elected. A press release was put out by Cambridge Analytica attempting to distance themselves from Nix. But take a look at these tweets. Now, they're from Carol Cadwallader. She's one of the journalists who broke this story a few days ago. She says that Cambridge Analytica only exists on paper and that Nix is still CEO of SCL Elections and of another company called Eradata. Now, calls to delete Facebook for their part in all of this are growing. Brian Acton, who co-founded WhatsApp, which was bought by Facebook for $19 billion, making Mr. Acton $6.5 billion, is one of them. He left WhatsApp last September to start a not-for-profit organisation. And don't be fooled into thinking it's only Facebook. Here's Tamina.
So-called social media influencers who also happen to be the world's most powerful leaders, who use their large social media followings as a sign of their power.
I'm proud to announce to the media, to the American people, and to the Indian people that Prime Minister Modi and I are world leaders in social media. We're believers.
But are they really that popular? From Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi to US President Donald Trump to Pope Francis, a Twitter audit report not connected to Twitter has found that each account is plagued by one thing: fake followers. So should we be concerned? More than half of Modi's followers are reportedly fake, which means around 23 million aren't real. It's a similar story with King Salman, Trump, and Pope Francis. Even celebs like Kim Kardashian and Taylor Swift are a part of this infamous list. Twitter says the audit tool, which isn't affiliated with the company, is deeply flawed and shouldn't be trusted. It's based on a sample of 5,000 Twitter followers of a user and looks at things like the number of tweets and the ratio of followers to friends. So just how problematic are these fake followers? At the very least, accounts filled with fake followers give world leaders a false sense of influence and assurance in a questionable online persona.
Having so many of these fake accounts, be it a fake account for mimicking a person of interest or basically making it appear that a person of interest has more of a following, could potentially give voters and general consumers a false impression, an illusion, if you will, of their actual influence, and solely based on numbers and followers.
Every act or tweet amplifies the reach of these leaders with these fake followers and can influence the political discourse. This often distracts people from real issues, like that time Trump tweeted this. This was while he was preparing to sign an executive order that would cut funding to the United Nations. Then there's the impact of social media influence on political decisions. In 2010, former Pakistan President Pervez Musharraf was considering re-entering politics in Pakistan due to his massive following on social media. Despite a whirlwind media tour full of appearances in international media, Musharraf ended up not running. The aim of misinformation is often used to polarize discussion, influence, and mislead users. Social media has clearly become an effective tool for spreading propaganda and disinformation, all under the guise of so-called popularity.
All right, let's look at what else is trending on social media. Now, do not congratulate is trending after the leader of the USA had the audacity to congratulate the recently re-elected leader of Russia on his election win. Geez, Twitter, settle down. Now, it's 6 months since Hurricane Maria devastated the island of Puerto Rico, and as many as 100,000 people are still without power. It's the first day of spring, but not for these skies. This video is from the northeastern United States. Nice dive, 7.5. The next one is the snow in Tokyo. That's the highway there. And this final one is the University of Louisville. It looks icy. And just so you know, the weather here in Istanbul is çok güzel. Now, it's World Poetry Day, and people have been sharing their favourite lines. So here's one of mine. It's by an unknown 20th century poet called Newman. And it's a love poem about someone walking past who smells great. Her bouquet cleaved his hardened shell and fondled his muscled heart. He imbibed her glistening spell just before the other shoe fell. But if spring and poetry isn't working for you, then I wish you a very happy World Happiness Day. Leading the charge on Twitter, of course, is Pharrell Williams of Happy fame. He said, "Happy International Day of Happiness. Take some time to spread some love and positivity." Thanks, Skateboard P, but how about spreading some better songs? Now, I do not want to alarm you, but as we speak, at this very moment, a Chinese-made space station is rapidly falling out of orbit, and scientists can't tell where it'll come down, but come down it will. And Oscar's as terrified as you should be.
It sounds like something out of a sci-fi geopolitical thriller, if that was even a genre. But no, this is real life. China's out-of-control space station, the Tiangong-1, will come crashing back to Earth sometime over the next few weeks. That's according to the latest predictions. But no one quite knows where it's going to land. Researchers at Aerospace Corp have identified 2 areas, highlighted here in yellow. The band to the north reaches across New York, Madrid and Beijing, while the southern area includes Melbourne, Wellington and Buenos Aires. But Aerospace is quick to add the chances of being hit by a piece is 1 million times smaller than the odds of winning the lottery. If you do happen to find some debris though, stay well away. It could be soaked in highly corrosive rocket fuel. Well, the Tiangong-1 is Beijing's first ever space station. It went up in 2011 and was meant to come down in a controlled crash in 2013. That's when Beijing went quiet. It only recently admitted that it's lost control, and that, yes, 8 tons of metal have gone rogue in space and will come down. Thankfully, scientists say most of it will be burned up under the extreme heat of re-entry, but they can't rule out a collision here on Earth.
As they say, keep watching the skies. Now, we've all had some neighbours that push boundaries, shall we say. But what about when those neighbours are nuclear-armed geopolitical rivals? Well, diplomats from India and Pakistan are accusing one another of playing pranks. I kid you not. Take a look.
Strong protest was lodged at the maltreatment being meted out to the officials and families of the Pakistan High Commission in New Delhi.
Our ambassadors and their families posted in Pakistan are being persecuted, harassed, and it's time that Pakistan stop.
Now, of course, do remember that India and Pakistan have fought 3 wars since the partition of India back in 1947 and still trade fire across a de facto border in the disputed Kashmir. So let's hope that that game of knock-a-door run doesn't go nuclear. So, right, some other stories now around the world on Wednesday. Well, as we told you on Tuesday, hashtag #MarielVive is gaining strength. It relates to the murder of a Brazilian politician called Marielle Franco. Now, these are the protests in Rio de Janeiro. Marielle Franco was an advocate for all minority communities in Brazil and was constantly shaming the policing of her country. Her murder has been described as an assassination, and the investigation has revealed that police-issued 9mm bullets were used when she was shot 9 times, 4 times in the head. This is Valerie Adams, and she's a 2-time Olympic champion in shot put. She's from Tonga, and her government have just banned girls on the island from boxing or playing rugby. Apparently, the sports are undignified and not in keeping with the island's tradition. Well, Valerie and thousands of other women disagree. And Twitter has helped in another case of hidden figures. That's the term taken from the film, referring to black women being written out of the history books of American science. Now, the photo you're looking at was taken in 1971 at the International Conference on the Biology of Whales. And if you look close enough, there, in the middle, you'll see a young black woman's face peering out among all those dudes. Now, she was identified in the photo as not identified. Fast forward to 2018, and an illustrator called Candace Jean Anderson came across the picture and posted it on Twitter, asking for help identifying Miss Not Identified. And Twitter did its thing, and this is her, Miss Sheila Minor Huff. She went on to work for the US government for 35 years as a senior environmental protection specialist. Good old Twitter. Salt Bae and Kevin De Bruyne, the Turkish butcher turned restaurateur turned social media big deal, keeps pulling the stars into his steakhouse. In this case, the Manchester City and Belgian baller. This snap was taken in Dubai. All right, and last up, I'm about to show you the way a teenager reacted when Chewbacca from Star Wars brought him the news he'd been waiting for, that he was getting a new heart.
Do we seriously have a heart?
Is there anything we can get you?
Well, Austin Eggleston had been told by his doctor that when they got a donor who matched, Chewie would bring him the news. Now, Austin, of course, is 15 and is a huge Star Wars fan, and he suffered from a multiple congenital heart defect condition. This new heart will save his life.
Dude, I'm super excited.
Well, may the force be with you. That's all from the NewsFeed team. Reach out to me with your questions, complaints and suggestions at Kamali Melbourne. You'll find us 24/7 on YouTube, Facebook and Twitter. Subscribe, add and follow, and I will see you tomorrow.